Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Hosted today by our President and CEO, Andy Albright. Filmed in front of a live studio audience in beautiful Burlington, North Carolina. Brought to you by AMP Studios, featuring the latest Alliance news and in-depth training. Now, let's hear it for our host, Andy Albright.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Nice to meet you. What's up, man? You fired up, man? Yeah, baby. Woo! It's crazy. Hi. Hi. Y'all grab a seat. Oh, we got a good crowd here today. A lot of energy in the house. Mm-hmm. The Alliance is on fire, baby. It's a new day dawning. We got a lot of good things coming on. People are starting to get some stuff we've been teaching. And I got cold chills. It's 2019. I'm so excited. I'm meeting with a few of you guys, select individuals, immediately after this to show you what we got going on, okay? So we're going to treat you just like it's day 2, like January 2nd, okay? So I'm flying around the country doing these leadership meetings. I am leaving in the morning to go down to Fort Lauderdale. I'm getting there by 10 a.m. Apparently from 10 a.m. till 2, I'm going to be laying it out to my team builders and above. Some people have been with us 10 years, and they're seeing this. You're going to see it today before the people have been with me 10 years. And if they're writing $5,000 a month consistent, or they pop over 10 grand, 3 grand, I'm not looking for the people who've been around 3 years with us and ain't doing nothing, right? But if they've been sticking with us and popping business in every week, and down in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, I'm talking to them. I think I'm actually doing the activity call on. So I'm staying down there Thursday. I'm really down there all day Thursday night. As a matter of fact, if you have people in that area, all around Fort Lauderdale, I'm having a meeting with leadership, but I've got some of my other staff there, so we may have another meet and mingle, so we get in touch more people while we're down in that area. So if you have people down that way, let us know. We want to try to get with them. And then I'm doing an activity call Friday coming back. And then December 4th, Louisville, Texas. I'm not sure. Is that to end up being a Tuesday? I think it is a Tuesday. I'm in Louisville, Texas. A crowd of us are flying out there. And I'm sitting down again with team builders. Dude, we're rolling something out. We're getting ready to take the lid off this thing. Now, for the ambitious, this is big. If you're just plodding along, this is not going to be that big of a change. But for the ambitious, and you want the ability to make millions and make your dreams come true, this is going to be big. Somebody sent me a little video. This guy named Shaq, it's this big basketball player. He has a big plane, a G5. I want one. I saw that thing and I was like, okay, I'm going to be fired up getting on my jet tomorrow, but I was thinking, if it was a G5. I don't want to appear discontent, because I am a content person. I'm happy where I am, but dadgummit. Matter of fact, Mac showed me some new shirts. It says, book one more, get one more, make one more. That's kind of the story of my life. I'm like, yeah, that's good right there. We need one more. You know what I'm saying? I like my jet. I'm going to need a bigger one. When I so some of you know the story. I'm an engineer, had a regular job, But the whole time I was in college, I was always trying to figure out a way not to work, right? I was ambitiously lazy, right? You know what I'm saying? I was working all the time, trying not to work. And then when I got to be an engineer, I found a couple of strategies to make some money on the side, and eventually I made enough money, my wife quit her job, and I didn't have a job. And and I forgot what I was going to tell you. But I'll come back to it. It was really good. It made me stop in my tracks. That's how good it was. Oh, shoot. I know it was going to lead to this business and we building something big, but I don't remember the in-between part. Sorry about that. With Louisville, Texas, we're going to lay this out to everybody, and then I'm going to Las Vegas. And the last time I went to Vegas, I had like 2 little meetings set up, and by the time I was there, it blew up. I had 10 crazy meetings. It's kind of happened again. So I said I'm going to stay 2 days in Vegas because I know stuff will be crazy. Sure enough, I booked like 5 meetings now when I'm in Las Vegas. How many of y'all seen that show, Self-Made? If you go, you can Amazon Prime. You have to be an Amazon Prime subscriber, but you're on Amazon Prime. There's a TV show called Self-Made, and I'm the host of that show, and I host it from all around the different parts of the country. And a lot of people really like this show. I mean, a lot of people. We had 65,000 people last week watching the show. It's not millions, but 65,000 people watching a show is pretty cool. And so the producer, he said, hey, I heard you were going to be in Vegas. I will be there. We're going to be in front of Caesars again, and we're going to film some more clips in front of Caesars. And then the guys, we're doing a huge, massive deal to our top 33 couples. And actually, we snuck in 34 and 35. But we're doing a huge, massive life insurance policy on them that the company is going to give them as an incentive for doing good with the company over the last anywhere from 5 years to 20 years, just a gift. It's funny because some of them were like, how much does it cost us? I was like, it don't cost you nothing. And what's the catch? There's no catch. If you don't want it, it's free. It's a big deal. It's called premium financing. It's a high finance deal. It's where this massive bank loans me the money, and I give the loan to the agents, and the security is the life insurance policy. Does that make sense? So when if one of them, we don't want any of our guys die, but like one of my guys, if he dies, his wife and his kid gets $20 million, and it's a free gift. But the premium that's paid the first year, which is maybe $600,000, the insurance company would take that back immediately. So it's a little complicated, right? So we have about got that thing locked up and done the deal. It's complicated as all get out because I'm borrowing like $39 million to pay all these premiums to cover our people. And people say, why would you do something like that? Do you understand? I think this is a tiny company. You with me? I just think it's a tiny company that we could be big one day. And so what I'm trying to do, it's like if a basketball team or a university has a coach and they go, oh, we got this coach is going to be good, right? We don't want him to go to a different, university or something. So I put this program in place, right? So the guy that's been doing this for the last 30 years that's helping coordinate the whole thing, the banking, the financing, the payoffs, the whole deal, he texted me and said, hey, heard you're going to be in Vegas. I said, yeah. He said, I'll meet you there. And this guy's, like, I call him an old dude. He's not much older than me, but he's just an old dude, but he's meeting me there. I'm like, man, it's going to be crazy. So I don't know if y'all like this sort of thing. I just like this sort of thing. I like this sort of thing. I texted the football coach, NC State's football coach, because the West Virginia game got canceled because of that weather, the storm, the hurricane, or whatever, tornado, whatever, the big mess come through. They canceled it. And so me and him tight, right? So the East Carolina University game's coming up this Saturday. I ain't got no sideline passes. I texted my coach. I said, I know you're busy and all, but What's up? Less than 30 minutes come back. He said, you still have your passes for West Virginia. They're good. I was like, we good. I just like stuff like that, and this premium finance guy. And so Jason and Tawny Carrier, they're coming out, and Diane's coming in from Dallas. So they'll get to meet these people, like all of them. You know what I mean? Like not only meet each other, but other people. Like I like introducing people. I like when we're down on the field. Like this one friend of mine, I had him down on the football field, and he's talking to this guy, and I'm talking junk, laughing off. I said, you know who that was, right? Because he told me, he said, I want you to help my daughter get in school here. And I said, you know who that was, right? And he's like, no. I said, that was the guy. That's the chancellor. That was the president. That's the man. He said, what? I said, you want a picture with him? So we turn around and say, hey, boss. You know, take a picture. I just love stuff like that. You know what I mean? I love Diane Lampy's coming in. Going to get to hang out with Matt Goodrich. So Vegas, we're going to kill it. Then we're going to Baton Rouge. We've got a conference room set up there. It looks like we've got a couple dozen people that are new and getting started in that area. Then we're in Atlanta, December 17th, Lakeland, Florida, the 18th, and back here the 19th. But anybody, I really want to have, God, today at 2 o'clock, going to be crazy too. All right, so this is coming on. There's another date that I just really don't want you to miss at all. It's this coming year, we're going to Paris, and all of y'all are invited to go with us. You just need a ticket. Gus Turan has now earned a ticket. And I think that means Mercedes will be going with us also. So there we go, Gus, you right there on the peak, Gus Turan. Also, Jan Miller has now earned, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that means her mommy gets to go to Paris again. She will take her mom on a trip. Evan Patzer, I don't know who he'll take. And Peter Orozco. I would say Leah if I had to remember. Does anybody know if that's the right name? Leah? Is that his wife's name? You don't know? Staff? Who's working with him? Victoria is obviously what her name is. Victoria, Chris, and Courtney Long have now earned a trip. My wife will be happy because she's hanging out with Courtney. She was texting her last night. And Nick Neitzel has already won another trip. Way to go, Nick. So you still have, if you have not won, you still have over 30 days to win. It's possible, but it would be a challenge. You'd have to work all day long. I tell people I'm pretty much a part-time guy. Half day here, half day there, right? Y'all know there's 24 hours in a day, so a half a day is 12 hours, right? Y'all get it? These people come in and clock in 8 hours and they work 4. That's not a half a day. You follow what I'm saying? These meetings all around the country, if you're invited or want to find out if you're invited or if you want to get invited, get in touch with Amber. That is A. Bowen at NAA Leads, or if you don't check with somebody, they'll tell you how to get in touch with my secretary. She can help you. Oh, December the 11th, we have an all-star cast coming in. Terry Edwards will be talking about how to move annuities along with Brant Swindell. But we've also got Jim Mosley coming in from National Life Group, who is a great teacher from Understand. I've never seen him teach. I understand he's great. Mike Duncan, who's the vice president at National Life Group, who has a lot of years of wisdom. He was hilarious. We did a call Sunday night. I think now over 1,000 people have heard it. Has that moved to Move yet? Has that been downloaded on Move? If anybody will let me know that, Mac or anybody that knows. How many of y'all know what Move is? Nobody? Okay. You don't know what Move is? It's on podcast. There's a lot of, if you're on a podcast, like the iPhone podcast, if you go on there and search my name, we've got the TWC is on there, the activities calls on there, and Move is on there. And on Move has several seminars that are not public anywhere else. And all this is free. It's on a podcast. I don't know. Has Sunday night moved? It has? Okay, so if you look on Moved, which is a show that's on a podcast, you can hear that call. So I think over 1,000 people have listened to it now. So we had Mike Duncan, which is the National Life Group, against Ryan Parker, and we kind of pitted them against each other, and it was a lively call. How many of y'all heard that call? Raise your hand if you're on that call. Okay, so that we over 1,000 people have heard it now. It was really good education. We've already had people since then move some big case deals. What we've always said, Austin, is our cases average about $85 a month, so that's a $1,200 sale. So you might make anywhere from $400 to $1,500 on that sale, right? Well, that's $85 a month. We have people now picking up deals that are $1,000 a month. Yes, and mainly the stuff we talk about on that call. And there's a lot of people that can put $1,000 a month. Even if you think about $500 a month, that's a $6,000 sale. These are called Index Universal Lives. When you sell these right, people will ask, how much am I allowed to put in there? And there are maximums you can put in, so you limit the people on how much, but you get paid commission on the whole thing. Okay? So that's fun seeing those big cases start. Jasmine just had a big one close, and Mike and Carrie Williams. Carrie Williams just had one close. They just posted it on Band. So that's what's going to be talked about December the 11th. Mike Duncan's coming, Ryan Parker, Jim Mosley. I've got a good friend named Jim Vagazzoni, and he wrote a book on IULs. We'll have those books. We'll be providing those to you at this seminar. And he's going to be talking. And somebody else crazy that we got. Oh, Chris Norris and Kelly Hook will be here with BAM, so Burlington Alliance Capital Management. Oh, and Tyrone Clark, who's kind of a famous person nationwide in the annuity world, helping you move annuities, and Mike Zorn. So we're going to have, with 7:30, breakfast will be provided, and then it's a networking breakfast at 7:30 to 9, and 9 it's going to crank up. It's going to go intense until lunchtime. We're going to take a break. Lunch will be provided, and then it'll stop at 4:30. At 4:30, we're going to do a driving depth seminar where we'll show people how to get a list, how to get an MC backup, and what to do with it, and we'll actually be making calls in depth December 11th, that whole night. You with me? We're going to kill it. We're going to China, baby. We're going deep. We're going deep. Okay? So that's December 11th. We've got a crowd of people. Look, we're going to take this seminar to Louisville, Texas. We're going to take this seminar to Fort Lauderdale. If you can't come to this one, don't sweat it. We're going to come to your area. Okay? Because one, we don't want to get too crazy here. We want to keep it kind of intimate. We're going to pick up $20 at the gate or at the door. That'll cover your food, the seminar, and the whole deal thing. I will tell you, there are a select group. We're going out. We're not going to hang around at 4:30. We're going to Raleigh to going to check out the Carolina Hurricanes game and hang out up top there, Terry. So you and Brant Swindell and a couple more people. So we have so much going on. The biggest date that I would ask everybody in here to get on your calendar is January 24th through the 27th. And the biggest thing I would tell you is the biggest promoters, people that can get people under the tent, are going to be the biggest winners. If you can't get people to come to a meeting, like this is your number one get good at skill. I'd say number one is getting people to go to meetings. I would say this, your number two, and you could argue with me, is how to get a list. In other words, get an MC backup. But that promotion thing about getting people to come to meetings. So it's a formula that I've been using all my life. I say all my life, over half my life. First of all, you got to get people to put it on their calendar. Let's go look at your calendar, go look at your phone. We used to use day timers, day planners. Some people still use them. We'd get them to open them up, and I'd say put it right there. Because once you put it right there, if somebody else comes along and tries to get that date, they say, I might be going to Burlington. They ain't going, but they might be going. And that prevents, it blocks so much riffraff from coming in there. And then they start thinking, if I was going to go, I might need a hotel room, and I know they're going to sell out. And if I was going, I need... So what you do is you get them thinking about going, and they're halfway there. Okay? And then if you get depth underneath them going, oh, they going, right? Because they don't want nobody going and they ain't found out what happened. Talking about, you ain't going to go up there and find out, I didn't find out. So you get somebody underneath them. That is the formula right there. The other thing is, if I ever talk, what's terrible embarrassing, Austin, if I go to one of your agents or I go to somebody, Teresa, underneath you, and I ask them, I say, are you coming to a convention? They go, what convention? It makes them think you didn't want them there, and I do. And people want to be wanted, so they're going to like me more than you when you are the one that was around them for the last 2 days. And people say, and then here's people say, well, I only got them started last week. Like, what? Like, what was that move? Like, I only started talking to them 3 minutes ago, and I asked them. It took you a week and a half, and you with me? Does that make sense? Like, you say, Andy, that's not your number one thing. Yeah, pretty much. I always get those dates out of, yeah. That is, for 27 years, what I've done. Like, I think, they say, Andy, what do you think you are better than anybody else? I said, pretty good getting people to go to meetings. If I'm after somebody to go to a meeting, they're going to a meeting. You with me? So your ability to get 6, 7, 8 wide to commit and go, and then get them to get 5 or 6 wide or 4 wide, and then get them to get 2, so you just get this big, pyramid thing going on. You want your pyramid wide at the bottom, but you want it wide at the top. You want a wide pyramid. Does that make sense? Okay. Good God Almighty, there's so much going on. I don't even know which way to go. I think I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do some teaching here. Jeff Bright's got a couple things to say. Our book, meaning the one that Jeff and I put together, although Mac Hefner and my wife and Gwen and some other people did most of the work, our book is coming out called the House of the Alliance, Values and Behaviors. And today I want to start talking about excellence, which is kind of what's really the first column that we set up. And I want you to understand this. Excellent is not perfect. If it was perfect, I wouldn't be your guy. And I want to have a reminder out there to everyone that gets my thinking. Okay, my thinking is this. I'm not that good. I'm not that talented. I ain't great. Okay? I am told that God's hand must be on me. Or not must be. God's hand is on you and guiding you. So if you're a non-God believer and a non-Jesus person, just close your ears because you ain't going to want to hear this right here. You're going to be like, I don't want to hear all that. Well, close your ears. But I'm trying to explain to people that I don't think I can do it. Okay? The only thing that I don't see, I'm like, why would God pick me? And my friend Adam, he said he usually uses unlikely people, meaning people that are pathetic, terrible, a mess, stutterers, mumblers, sinners, guys that are backwards and jacked up and triple messed up and ain't got a chance in hell. God will pick them because then it looks like a miracle. I always feel like it started out like a compliment. God picked you. God picked you. And here's the kind of person God picks. Like, I fit the mold. So when I start with this excellence pitch, and people are like, who's he up on his horse? I want you to know where I'm coming from. Okay? So I feel like I can't do it, so thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for picking messed up people and leaving all the perfect people alone. Tell me what to do. Don't tell them nothing. They're already smart. This book, I want to say this. Here's what we're working on. We've got to decide in the next couple of days to hit the button on how many we want. So what we're looking at is key leaders and agency managers, people that have the money. How many cases do you want? I think a case is 24. If you could tell us how many cases, we're going to do some crazy, ridiculous before we order the book prices. You with me? Because, I mean, when you order 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, we get cheaper prices, right? So we're trying to get as cheap as we can, but also we want to get as many in inventory, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there right now. So if y'all would let us know, and we'll try to get we're going to try to get with key leaders and anybody that's just going crazy in our business, investing like crazy, we're going to try to have them here for you so you can take them home with you. And it'll be great deals for everybody else, but we got to get, these things got to go to the world, okay? I really feel great about this book, so I'm letting you know that it's coming out. The first value that we talk about is excellence. And what we say is excellence is becoming indispensable, meets up with extreme focus. So they need you, and then you're extremely focused. When you're needed and you're extremely focused is what creates excellence. So the extremely important is like what you matter, like your distinction. You are the one that can pull this off. And then focus is when you do it right. Like you're so intense on it, that's all you do so you get it 100% correct. Like you're the only one, but you get it right. So that's called excellence. Does that make sense? You're the one. And then the other thing we talk about in there is when you're just ridiculously curious, but overwhelmingly confident. Like you want to try to understand it, but you don't try to worry about what the real answer is. The way I say this is I have FOMO, fear of missing out, and I take action. That's the simple way, kind of redneck way I say it is, I want to know what it's like to get a G5. I want to know what it's like, and I don't have one. I'm really mad. So they say that you need to do this and this and this. I go, all right, I'll do it. Does that make sense? In other words, I'm not like, let me figure out how this works. I'm like, if somebody's telling me this will work, then I just jump in with everything I got, and I'm making it happen. Makes sense? Action. Okay. So what I promised when I sent the message out, I said, all right, based on our book, based on excellence, how do you make adjustments to change your whole life so you speed up your business? There's two things that I want to touch on. I don't want to bore you with the basics, but being excellent at the basics and excellent at communication. Communication being one of the basics. There's three things that I want to hammer on excellence. It's showing up, something to prove, and honoring commitment. Showing up. My daddy always hit me that. He'd be like, first thing, boy, you need to go class. I'd be like, all right. I thought that was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. I was like, so that's a big deal? He's like, yeah. This ties into what we was talking about, Jeff. There's so many dumb people out there. They don't know that going to class is important. Last week I talked about life is unfair, and I am all about that because I am pitiful, but I like it being unfair to my advantage, almost like cheating in my favor. Does that make sense? Turns out that some people didn't know showing up was important. And so then I'll win out of default because ding dong don't show up. Number two is something to prove. It's like people that like to win. I mean, it's just like I always tell people, like, I ain't on Facebook. Y'all go on Facebook. He's all over it. No, that's me posted where I got a whole dadgum team, and I will look at what they put about me. Does that make sense? Like, I'm watching that. Okay, but what I like about it, looking at it, is seeing what my neighbors have to look at. Like on the jet, hanging out with you on the front row seat, on the floor at the ball games, on the sidelines, I'd be like, that's right. Check that out. Remember that dumb little boy, you know? It's people that have something to prove. Win. Being there. One of my favorite things to say is when Mia asked me today, where's my Lamborghini? I said, I don't know. I don't keep up with the Lamborghini is. You know, I just know I got one. I know it's hard to get in it. Matter of fact, I would match it today because they got that flat blue and the gold stitching. Yeah, it's really he said it was wearing your jeans and your Rolex day because it's blue like denim and then the gold stitching. It's pretty sweet. I don't know. Silver, I guess. I don't know. It's got these big brakes inside of it that you can see. I think that's what that is, and they're red. I like them. I got a picture. And then number 3 is honoring commitment. People that have this word, like when they say it, they're just going to do it no matter what. This is the 3 kind of simple things we say that turns out excellence in the Alliance. And we can't demand this stuff of you, but we can say this is who we are, and if you want to be on the inner circle, you need to adhere to these values. So Jeff Bright had a dream, and he wants to share it with you. It's a fresh dream, so let's get Jeff Bright up. How many years you say you've been working with us? Yeah, it should. How many years you been coming over here counting when you was at the
college?
Close
to 8. Close to 8.
So 8. And you've been here full time, not even 2 years, right?
Yeah, coming up on
2.
Real close.
So Jeff's been the vice president of our local community college for 30 years. And he started coming over here about 8 years ago. One of my attorney friends told me, he said, this guy you're gonna love this dude. He is so different from you, but he's right. He understands you and will get you and get your company. You and him are gonna be buddies. Y'all just got to meet. So, and this guy, if y'all know anything about this area, or if you have awnings on your house anywhere, they're made by this company. It's called Glen Raven Mills, and they create this awning called what is that stuff? I know it. Sunbrella. And if you're anywhere in the world and you have awnings, they're made by this company. They're made in Burlington. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. And my friend is the head chief counsel worldwide. And he used to work a lot with me until those guys paid him $600,000 and he left. He's a good guy. And so he connected us two. And so we've been hanging out ever since. And Jeff is a co-author and major worker on this book, The House of Values. And so he thinks about it all the time. And he called this morning. I come and he said, "Man, you ain't gonna believe what I come up with during the middle of the night." I said, "You have a vision?" He's like, "Yeah," and I wrote it down. So it ties in with excellence because he knew we were going to be talking about this today. So Jeff, tell us about it. What did you dream? Jeff, right
now. Let's get it straight. I dream a lot. And a lot of my best stuff comes out of those dreams, but sometimes I'm too lazy to get up and write it down, And if you don't write something down after you dream it, it sounded good at 4 a.m, but then about 7, 8 o'clock, I forgot half of it. So I wrote it down because I was thinking about this talk today, and I wanted to have something to add to it other than what we've written in the book about excellence. Now, let's go back. This dream ties into the definition that he was giving you a while ago, which is showing up, something to prove, and honor commitments. Now, excellence is not achievable if you just accept the average or the standard, or you live right up to the expectation and you don't go past it. Because a lot of people survive in this world never being excellent, right? They just get by. They live paycheck to paycheck, or they're 3 paychecks away from poverty. That's most of the country. And they have things. They want things. They never get those things because they're not willing to go past the expectation. So when I was at the college, we used to do a lot of evaluations. When I was over the evaluation process, and we would give out raises. The state would give out raises. Merit and exceptional merit. Okay? And I'd have to sit down and give the bad news to people that they were only getting merit, which is like 0.5%. They don't get the whole percent. We're not talking about a whole lot of money here, but people want that whole percent. And I would say, you're not getting full merit. You're getting 1/2 a merit because you didn't live past the expectation. And then they would list all the stuff they did all year long. And I would have to say, and sometimes I got enjoyment out of it. I tried not to. I didn't look like I was getting enjoyment, but inside I was thinking. And they would go, so, you see, I did all these things. And I said, I'd go and look at their job description. I said, yeah, you did what you're supposed to do. You did what I hired you to do. You didn't look for opportunities to go past that mark. Well, I know I had to. You didn't have to. But if you wanted the full merit, you have to. You see, so excellence is going beyond that. And so when we look at showing up, a lot of people will just show up. See, there's good showing up and bad showing up. Some people just show up because they're box checkers. Some people honor commitments because they just check only the commitments or the bare minimums to get by. They're just trying to get by. I think the one that separates us in this definition is something to prove. Because if you catch that, it's going to push you past the ceiling of the expectation, right? Anybody that's an athlete in here knows you're not going to be an exceptional athlete unless you go beyond what everybody else is doing, right? And then when the day comes and you go against somebody in competition and they beat you and you go, man, they're not doing different than me. They don't look no different than me. Yeah, but their activity behind the scenes is different than yours, right? So then I'm sorry, I'm going too long, right? Yeah. Okay. So I wrote it down. So the dream part. So I was trying to think about. It's not very nice looking. So I was thinking about how can we get people to push past the expectation. So we have to identify, and this is what came to me in the dream. All right. I'm not joking. Y'all think I'm making this up, but I actually did dream it. Yeah. There's two types of fears. I call them good fear and bad fear. So let's talk about good fear. That's what you got to have to go past the expectation. You've got to embrace the good fear, which creates urgency in your life. Now, some of you have heard me talk about this in the past. The reason people will embrace good fear and accept the urgency that comes with it is because they're not afraid of change. But if you're afraid of change and you're afraid of getting out of a routine or a rut that you've been in, then you're not going to embrace good fear. You're going to embrace bad fear. And bad fear stunts your growth because that's when people are afraid to change. So when you have bad fear and now your growth is being stunted by that bad fear, because what it does, bad fear allows you to make up excuses. Really, I call them, what are people really afraid of? The unknown, right? That not knowing. So once you wipe away all the stuff that looks like it's a mystery to them, and it becomes more clear, and you add clarity to things when you explain this stuff, Terry, then they're not as afraid to move forward. We need forward momentum, but they're going to stop in their tracks. Even if it looks like something that's going to be good for them, if they don't understand it or they don't have clarity, they're not moving forward. So then they create on that blank slate of the unknown. Let's just call this the blank slate over here, right? They will put stuff on that blank slate. They'll put false realities. They'll color that slate with false realities, made up stuff that keeps them stuck. Myths. They'll make up myths. Or they'll listen to people that are not experts and they'll go, that must be right. And I'll stay there. Right? So it's like I was telling Andy the other day, he was talking about driving depth. I'm thinking, I asked the simplest questions because we'll be sitting in the office and I don't know a lot about the structures and stuff, but I know enough to say, well, why don't people drive depth? Why do they only get width, Terry? Why don't they drive depth? I mean, it's just dawned on me to ask that question. And we start talking about all the reasons they should drive depth. I want to know why you don't want to drive depth. Because if I figure out why you're not doing it, then I can get you to do it. And I'm probably going to find out that you've created false realities that you're hanging on to that keeps you from driving depth. Listen, everybody can be excellent. It's a choice. And it's just a choice, you know. Now, that comes with a price. And everything like that comes with a price. But you feel better when you do something that comes with a price, I think, instead of something given to you. Now, you can lie to yourself all day long. And you look in the mirror and say, I'm great. But you know you ain't great. You know you didn't come up with that on your own. And that, in the end, is what you got to lay down with every night. I don't know what we're doing over here now. So
We're thinking.
You're thinking. So when the book comes out...
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Here's what Jeff says. People are waiting, that you are waiting for a miracle. Are you waiting for a gift or your ship to come in, or the world's going to make it right. Mother Nature's going to make it right. Like, unlikely, bro. Like, I've been put down so many times, I'm due one. Nah, you're not due one. It's not going to happen. See, this is what he says. See, people think that the life is fair and it's going to equal out. It's not a net sum, bro. You're going to hell and you're going to go broke. Does that make sense? Like, you think it's going to even out before I die? No. You're going to wake up gnashing your teeth talking about, and I didn't ever get rich. It's un-effing fair. I did a double F on you. Everybody gets upset. He says people get upset when you throw the F word on them. He said, you put the F-bomb on people, people get pissed. Here's the F-bomb for you. Life's not fair. It's not.
It is never going to be. It's just not going to be.
I remember him telling me this, and I was like, I knew that. Dude, I have a jet. I've got 2 planes, 3 or 4 homes, and sideline passes. That ain't fair. That is not fair. And I know people that are more sophisticated, smarter. They understand derivatives. They understand what fracking is and how the structure of the earth is set up. And I go, woo! Like, that's my thing. Woo! Does that make sense? That's not fair. It makes no sense. Like, a guy that knows that stuff sits way up yonder, and I'm sitting right here. And what's up, man? Talking junk to the referee. My favorite thing is when they first call a foul, I stand up and go, he's been doing it all night! Like, I hope he's in the first 2 seconds of the game, you know, and everybody can hear it, you know, and the referee's like, what? It's not fair that this guy, does that make sense? She says, so what are you telling me? Why don't you make it unfair to your advantage? If you know it's unfair, let's show you how to take advantage of the unfairness of the earth. Does that make sense? Like, like I'm telling y'all, these insurance carriers, first thing I tell them, I said, we do not want fair. They said, we don't want you don't treat y'all fair. I said, no, treat us better than all the other fools. And they go, you know what they say? What do we get for it? That's what they always say. What do we get? Now, if he says, well, we think it should be fair, I go like, we're not doing no business with y'all. Because you got this pipe dream crap about the world being fair, and that is not the way this works. We're going to bring the premium to the people that are on our side. Does that make sense? Because we're not working with no dumb companies. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? These little lollipop in the, everything's going to be fair. Jeff Bright told me it's not fair. Y'all going to have to cheat for us. The alliance has got to have the favor. Does that make sense?
How many people are sitting there, just sitting there, camping out waiting for life to be fair? I mean, how many friends do you got that's all they talk about?
It's not
Every
fair.
place I ever went to talk, any company I went to,
Fairness.
the number one thing they argued about, it ain't fair that he makes a penny more than I do. I said, if he didn't exist, would you work still the same amount of hours? Would you still work as hard? Well, yeah. I said, why are you comparing yourself? Quit comparing. But you know what happens? The disease of fairness and wanting it goes to the next stage that gets nastier. If you sit around and camp out and wait for things to be fair, then you start saying, somebody owes me something. That's what comes next. That's the next natural transition. And no one in this world owes me a thing. I just want you to know that. I don't expect anything from anybody. But if you feel like that people owe you something, the next thing that happens, which is the last transition of this, starting at fairness, and it gets worse. We go from, you think somebody owes you something, now you think that people are put on this earth, including your spouse, to make you happy. And ain't nobody put on this earth to make you happy. And you shouldn't be getting married until you got you some happiness. Because you're going to spread unhappiness over to somebody else's happiness. You're going to make them walk on eggshells the whole damn marriage.
Oh, God. I made myself a couple notes here, Bo. I got to... Oh, Lord. Done got to meddling now. Done got to meddling.
Those are the three premises that when I first met Andy, I said, people need to rectify those things. That life's not fair, it's never going to be. Nobody owes you anything. And nobody's put on this earth to make you happy. Now, that last one really, we joke about it, and I was kidding about it, but that is a problem. There are a lot of people that are so miserable with their life, and they're looking for somebody else to be their cruise director and figure out what they want out of life. They want that person that's in their life to get up every day and figure out what's going to make them happy. They don't know what makes them happy, but they want you to do it. That's not a good program at all. You got married yet? Yeah. You need to be taking notes.
Hey, serious business. Billy, if you would text out that link where I'm talking to Shayla Thomas about getting married. This young lady, she got engaged when I think she was 18, like about ready to turn 19. And guy's cool and everything, but me and her daddy, we were against him. We preferred. But, if you change your mind, Shayla, you don't love him, we love him too. But, you with me? Well, she called me, and she's okay with me telling this, because I told her, I said, this is all being recorded. And she said, cool, I want to know. She called me, she said, I am out. And I said, why? She had her reason. She said, I'm out for this reason, this reason, this reason. So she was engaged, right? She's living with her mom and dad. He's living somewhere else. Anything about getting married and hooked up, right? And I said, I agree with you on all those things, but you understand I'm with you. You think about this. She said, oh, it's done. I said, well, let's see if it lasts 24 hours, 40. Oh, it lasted. like 3 weeks. She said, I ain't even thinking about it. I love him, but it's not who I'm going to, right? And then she said, how do I do better next time? Okay? And so we talked, I think it's about 35 or 40 minutes, and I said, listen, this is how you do better. This is your game plan. You got to hear this talk that that I laid on her, and her daddy called me and said, oh my God, thank you for that. But if you would listen to that, and it's about unfairness. It's about unfairness in marriages and unfairness going to farther the rest of your life. Like Think and Grow Rich. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make is marrying the wrong person. It's huge. It's such a mess if you do that. And then one girl was like, she says, I wish you told me earlier. I said, are you married? She said, no, I'm engaged. I said, give it back. Chop, chop. Who said, how is it that simple? It's not that simple. It's just not complicated either. You said, what if I'm already married? Well, here we go. Did you promise? Okay, well, if you promised, then we got to do something. We got to keep going. We can't worry about that now. We got to manage our decision. That's what most people can't manage their decision. They can't manage the mundane. They can't manage the middle. They can't manage their marriage. They can't even manage a miracle. You've been given a miracle called the Alliance, and you can't manage it because it's mundane. Because you're waiting for us to make you happy. Smile when you scream at them. This friend of mine, he texted me, he said, why are you screaming? Because I got something to scream about. That's why I'm screaming. How about that? Because Albright's fired up. And I can't help your life go like this. My life go like this right here. Does that make sense? Where it's affecting. Check that. Billy, blast that out. Let them have it. It is. And you say, you don't know everything. I know everything's not in 35 minutes. It's just some good tips that you've not heard before ever in your life. See, information changes the situation. Does that make sense to you? If you learn how to manage the middle.
Hey, just quit waiting on a miracle and be your own miracle. You know? Now, I'm not good at mechanical things. I'm terrible at... I have a lot of ideas. I'd like to invent things. And I would love to... I've said this before. I'd love to invent this machine. It's called the green light, red light, because I don't really have a good name for it. But it would help your situation before you get married, because I would install it in every church and every justice peace office. And it'd be a requirement before you get married. And you stick your head in this machine. And if a green light goes off, it says you like yourself. The red light says you don't like yourself. And if you don't get 2 greens, the law won't let you get married. I would save a lot of divorces. Now, I think 2 red lights should go ahead and get married and make themselves freaking miserable. But you know what? Red lights don't marry each other. A red light will find a green light and bring them down. And if you're one of them red light people in here, and I'm talking about you, I hate it for you. So I'm sorry. Quit being a red light. Quit draining the green light out of other people.
All right, so there's 3 things that we talk about in the book. Showing up, something to prove, and then honoring commitment. Okay, so I need for y'all to help me with something. I had this conversation on the activity call where I'm chatting with this girl, and I'm going, wasn't you supposed to have an appointment? She says, no, and nobody picked up the phone call. And I said, how many dials you make? And she said, I had 27 leads. Now, can you understand that is not communication? It's not happening. When I say how many phone calls you make, and she says, I had 27 leads. You say, well, she say, I have 25. I don't give a crap what the price of eggs are in China. I don't care. You might as well have told me that. I wanted to know how many dials she made. Show up. Show up. We have an activity book that apparently some people quit teaching. You need to know how many phone calls you make. And some people think 17 phone calls in a day is a whole day. Some of them think 97 phone calls are big. I had 27 leads and I made 97 phone calls. At least you know. This girl said, I have 27 leads. And I said, how many phone calls did you make? And she said, all of them. I was like, it was a joke. You know that joke, right? How many people you think dead out there in the cemetery? 72, 96? No, all of them dead. That's an old joke. I called 27 leads. How many phone calls did you make? All of them. You just want to say, come closer where I can punch you. Like, but don't come too close where I ain't got the momentum. Come in about that distance right there so I can go right there. But they don't like for you to hit no more. No guns, no hitting. And they don't want you to call them a name like stupid either. No name calling, no chicken. You can't go back, no chicken. Okay, so you can't call them a name. I don't know what you do to them, right? How many phone calls did you make? There's a category we have. How many phone calls you make, how many people pick up the phone. If you don't know the first part, who cares about the second part? Because ratios matter. Then how many appointments did you book? Then we move into the part where you show up at the house. So the first part, showing up with phone calls. I am not kidding you. We have people full-time in this business that make 100 phone calls a week and they're confused about how broke they are. They're just absolutely confused. We got other people, they'll work their butt off for 2 weeks and make all the money and then take 2 weeks off and then can't figure out how they lost momentum. I'm like, you can't be serious. You're not lying to me. You're lying to yourself. Because I got better sense than this. I'm 54 years old. You know, I know what's going on. You're not making, does that make sense? Show up is the first part of excellence. Or do the do. And then document the do. Does that make sense? So then you got to show up at the house. I got a friend. He books people's appointments for them. That's his business. He sells them booked appointments. He said, would you believe that a person has an appointment booked and they've paid me for it $72 with a school teacher who they got to go to the school and meet with a person and they're interested in doing something with their 403B. Would you believe that those people don't show up? I said, all day long I believe it. All day long. I said, thank God for them people. He said, why? I said, we couldn't be who we are. If they were who we are, this would be normal. Does that make sense? In other words, it's unfair. Thank God that some people are that dumb. I just wish we didn't have none of them on our team. So are you telling me you would like all your team to be smart and all the dumb people to be on the other teams? Right. I am not the guy that says, I hope it's a good game. I'm the guy that says, I hope we beat them so bad that they start throwing white flags on the court and on the field and give up and leave. I don't want them to come back in the second half. I think, wouldn't that be the awesome, like, what happened to the other team? They left. Does that make sense? I'm here to win. Does that make sense? So, show up. I said, I have people who book their own appointments and don't go. He said, you got to be. I said, bro, all day long. So showing up is huge. Now, I think showing up is showing up with like this right here. Now, things have changed this much. When I used to go to the business, when I was going to houses, it was this right here. Because you had to have a check, and 4 signatures. So I'd go in the house like this right here. I'd be talking to people, hey, nice to meet you. I'd always keep until I got a check, then I could put my thumb down. And I got 1 signature, 2 signatures, 3 signatures, 4, I could leave the house. We only had 1 carrier. It was Fidelity and Guarantee. You had to have 4 signatures and a check. I'll never forget because it was that many, right? So when you get in the house, there's 4 things you need to do. Get a check or get on the phone. Pick up a check or pick up a phone. That's the first one. In other words, you're there to get a check. You're not there to get them to like you. I've had so many people come out, they love me. I'll be like, "Did you get a check?" "No." I said, "Okay. We're not going to get paid. What are we going to do now? We ain't going to get any money." I get mad, Bo. I got to get a check, Bo. So one buddy, he was like, he said, "These people are stupid. They didn't give me a check." I said, "They're smart. They kept their money. You didn't get it." You're right. Somebody's stupid in the group. He got offended. But he's still around, and he gets more checks than he's ever got in his life now. The number 2 thing is you got to get referrals. See, leads are very, very expensive. People always ask me, "What is the price of your leads?" I go, "They're expensive, dum-dum. They cost a fortune." We don't have the cheap nothing leads called right out of the phone book. Those are free. Ours are extremely expensive. And they say, "Well, could we have the extremely expensive ones for free?" No, they're extremely expensive. But you can get referrals off of this person that are extremely awesome and free. But that requires you to do this number 2, which is get referrals. Does that make sense? And then when you're filling out paperwork and they tell you they work at L'Oreal or Lenovo or IBM or they work at the university for 16 years, they have retirement. So don't ask them if they do. Your job is to find out where it is and how much of it is, and can we get a picture of the statement. Does that make sense? That's number 3. We got to find the money, baby. Y'all know why Jesse James robbed banks, right? That's where the money was. People robbing the 7-Eleven, they ain't wrapped too tight. It just make no sense to me a man rob a 7-Eleven. Our job is to find the money. These people have their money in dumb programs. They're not good. They're getting screwed, tattooed. Their money's not available to them. It's going to be at a low point when they need it the most. It's terrible. These securities companies and 401, they're terrible. And we got to get their money out of here and get them in something that they've got more access to the money, where they have guaranteed principal. It won't go down. It'll only go up. And this is the business we in. Does that make sense? So that's number 3. And number 4, we got to build a business. You got to look around and find somebody, recruit. So does that make sense? So showing up, but showing up and not having your tools with you is a mess. That's why we're going to go crazy on these annuity and IUL seminars, because people are missing out that one huge. And if I don't know about you, but an extra $40,000 a year would make a difference to me. My hockey tickets cost $40,000 a year. Without that $40,000, where am I going to pay for my hockey tickets? What would you do with an extra $40,000 a year? Would it change your life? Does that make sense? A buddy asked me, he said, "Andy, you don't go to a lot of hockey games. You're always giving away, you can save $40,000. I said, "Yeah, but I like making $40,000. So if I got a reason to make $40,000, do you have a reason to make an extra $40,000? Because if you'll do annuities and IULs, you'll pick up an extra $40,000. You cannot miss. The money is there. You're stepping over it. Here's how I know. If I say, let me ask you this. You mind if I give Terry Edwards all your clients? Oh, no. What do you mean? Well, you didn't get all the money out. So you know there's money there. You just need to get up the gumption. You need to get up the excellence. You need to get up something. Maybe you need a chip on your shoulder. Does that make sense? Maybe, you know what I mean by chip on your shoulder? You got something to prove? You have something to prove? Because that's really what I see about the second one, something to prove. I like doing this, like, I'm terrible, I'm low, if God didn't help me, I couldn't do it. And then all I do is I try to win. Does that make sense? I wouldn't want to be picked as the person who's going to prove a miracle and then I don't perform. And all the people that said I didn't deserve to get picked, and all the people that said I was a nobody, I intend to show them again and again and again. So thank God, I hate Facebook, but thank God for Facebook, because I get to show them right in their face. We're getting ready to go live. We're going to Paris and Switzerland. So see David Lewis and Mike and Carrie and Stephen and Holly and Justin Balick and Bill and Jake and Jan Mealer. This is like in your face right here. In your face right here. Paul and Sam, there's Sam Menachino. Sam Menachino, come up here. Come up here and in the face of. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Where's Paul?
He is headed to D.C. tonight.
All right, is he showing a plan tonight?
I think so, yeah.
Look at here. There y'all go right there.
Oh, there we are.
You
Yay.
hang out in Paris.
Yay, thanks.
Tell them who you are. Some of these people don't know you. I know it's hard to believe, but they don't know you.
Oh, well, hey, everybody. I'm Sam Menachino from Winchester, Virginia. My husband, Paul, and I started about 8 years ago, hired by James and Jane Hill, who are awesome and amazing. Love them so much. So thanks, James and Jane. James is sick. I'm sad for him. But so we got 2 little girls up there, and Paul's actually playing Mr. Mom this morning. He's taking them to school and everything. So it's cute. They get their little time together. But it's awesome. That's what I love about this business is we can do that kind of stuff. Trade up roles sometimes. It's fun.
So what do you think about this in your face, chip on your shoulder? This is part of, like we're tying in revenge, I guess. We're tying in show them. Mm-hmm. We're tying in, put it in their face, win, travel the world, travel to Paris, first class trips, clothes, stuff. Is that any in your psyche at all? Any neighbors? People that went to school with you,
absolutely.
And they might look down at you just a little bit.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Is that a secret thing of you, or can you tell them?
No, I mean, I definitely, the more you're talking about it, the more I'm like, my chip's growing a little bit, you know? I'm like, oh, yeah, I got some stuff to show.
You guys tell us what's happened. Y'all's house, I saw your new house, and y'all travel,
yeah.
What's your schedule, and where do y'all go, and where have you been? Tell them.
The schedule is crazy.
Pretend like some of those people are watching that were your neighbors from high school, uncles and aunts, who said things to you when you first started. It's like, y'all just love that Andy Albright guy, don't you? Tell them now what y'all doing.
Well, it's crazy now what we're doing. We are traveling the world with the Alliance, traveling around, getting to take our kids to do fun stuff. And
where have you been? What's your favorite place you've been?
With the Alliance or with the family?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, we've been to a lot of different places with the Alliance, but I think our favorite is Banff, Canada, because it's beautiful in the mountains, and we love to hike.
The poor people out there don't even know where that is, so kind of tell them where it is.
Banff.
It's not like the beach, Myrtle Beach they've been to. If you said I've been to Myrtle Beach, they'd be like, oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you stay?
Wow, it's funny that you say that because I know the first few years. Well, okay, so Banff is in Canada. It's in Alberta, Canada, so it's like Western Canada. It's beautiful, incredible. It's like the Canadian Rockies. But it's funny because I know, like, growing up and, like, even the first couple years in the business, we have, like, a lot of, like, high school friends and stuff, and they'd be like, why don't y'all ever go on vacation? Like, we're going to Ocean City and Myrtle Beach and Virginia Beach. And I've been to those places, you know, like, growing up with my family, and I was like, I just don't really want to go there at all. Like, the sand is, like, brown. Like, I want the white sand, you know? I'm like, real becoming a brat. I need to calm down, but it's crazy.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
But it's crazy because, like, when we went
That's what they want you to do. Calm down. Like, don't have so much success you don't deserve it.
No, it's crazy though because I always was like, I don't like the sand and the seaweed is crazy. But then in Hawaii we went and we saw white sand, black sand, red sand, green sand. Yeah.
Like for real?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like people go like, would they dye it or something? No.
Nope.
It's all natural.
The rocks dissolving. I love that stuff.
Tell them about the suites you stay in and the kids, how they live.
It's crazy because we've when we go on the cruises, we normally, Paul is works so hard, he's awesome, thanks babe, I love you. He wins a suite. So when we tell people that we go on cruises, and a lot of our friends and stuff have maybe been on a couple cruises or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, I know, the rooms are so small, did you get sick? I'm like, oh no, it's not like that. It's real nice. Bottles of champagne in the room, like room service. Butler with the phone to the butler. That was crazy. Paul definitely took advantage of having the phone and the butler.
I remember,
like, leave
I mean,
him
the first time I
alone.
saw my kids, we were in a bathroom somewhere at I don't know, it's a different place than we are, and my kids were just standing there like this right here, and I was like, what are you doing? They're like, the water's not coming out. I was like, oh, you actually have to touch something. You know what I'm talking about? My kids used to just put their hands underneath there.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you forget what the
Right.
masses
Right.
of people have to put up with.
Right.
Everybody else has touched that spigot, and you're like, can I
why
get a
they're sick.
napkin and do it like that?
Uh-huh.
You know? My kids are like, no. Or food or different drinks. Mm-hmm. You with me that?
Yeah.
We took a kid on the plane the other day. It's actually my nephew. He ate a bag of chips, a bag of Doritos, a bag of Cheetos. He got a pack of Nabs, and it was an hour flight. It was all free, I guess.
Oh, gosh.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like, so it's normal for you and Paul.
Right.
We need to tell them
Yeah.
how y'all live.
Yeah. It's crazy thinking about how I grew up and then now how my daughters are growing up, or our daughters, and how me and Paul grew up, and then just the things that they say. It's like, what? Like, well, calm down. You're spoiled. Like, need to figure out that, like, I don't know. Need to talk to you and Jane later.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because people ask me, they're like, your son is going to grow up not knowing how to drive a lawnmower. And I was like, oh. Yeah, he'll have to get someone to do it for him. So I went home, and Justin, or Dale, the yard man, Brand, was mowing the yard. It could have been Justin. We had different people, and I said, get off the line. I said, Spencer, drive around one time. He'd come back, and he said, is that good? I said, you got it now. You just go around in circles. It just keeps getting littler and littler. So I told my buddy, I said, hey, I went home and told my son how to mow the yard, so we're good. So he was like, what are you going to do if a lawnmower breaks? Who's going to fix it? And I was like, oh, God, I don't know. But people, they worry about stuff like that. And I'm going like, no, I'm not going to worry about that. You see what I'm saying? In other words, they don't have to grow up. They grow up here. Like they call it, here's what they call it. They're going to grow up on our shoulders. So our goal now is that they see further.
Right. Yeah.
One more.
Right.
If all they want is our hand-me-downs, then we didn't do good. If they grow up expecting this and more, then maybe they can fix something. They can change something. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like you want your kids to have it better than you had it, but then you don't want them, does that make sense? I want it better, what I want them to be more fanatical, more crazy, more driving. Fair enough?
Yeah.
It's the chip on the shoulder. It's the chip in the shoulder. It's the wanting to win. It's wanting to put your name on the board. It's wanting to travel with us. It's fighting it. And I got this little arrogant little guy I work with a lot, and he's always like, well, Andy, I don't really compete with others. I just go like, I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you, dude, but I always just want to be better. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan's and the other dudes out there, you know, I just kind of want to make, like this guy, Mac Brown, just got a job, and I was like, how much is he making? And they're like 3.5. I was like, You know what I'm saying? And he's 67. I'm like, by the time I'm 67, I hope he's making more than that. You know what I'm saying? But they say, well, people don't know you. Well, that's fine. And people don't know me. That's fine. But I sure would, like to be making that. You follow what I'm saying? Like, but if you want to compete, you're in the right place. Does that make sense? And then people start whining, and they go like, I want to know what the 100th person makes. And I go, nah, we're not going to let you compete with the people that are terrible. Does that make sense? Like who you pick to compete with. We'll show you the top 10, but we're not going to show you the 200th person so you can go home and tell your wife, say, look, at least I'm better than her.
Oh, man.
You with me? We compete in the upper echelon with the top 10%. Is this making sense? Now, when did y'all? How long ago? When did y'all buy your house? When did you move in?
Like 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years.
4 years
How's
ago.
it going? You keeping it all fixed up and air
Yeah.
conditioning work, heated
Yeah.
work?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, we just
remember?
actually had to replace all that stuff.
Do it a little bit harder.
Sorry.
You
We-
remember? You did? Y'all fixed all that stuff?
Well,
Like
yeah.
replaced it all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
And
you
it was
remember
no big
the
deal.
stress that you used to go through when it broke?
Yeah.
Now, did y'all buy new or did you get it fixed? How'd it work?
Whatever we had to do. We bought new stuff, new appliances. I guess the whole AC, all of it went out.
People don't live like that. This
Yeah.
happened for real. You're
It
not
did.
just-
It really happened, and I was stressed for about half a second. And I was like, "Oh, we'll just get it fixed."
Oh, that's right. We have money.
We could just get it fixed. Phew. Yeah. But before, it was definitely not like that. We'd have been like, Mom,
Mom!
Grandma. But not anymore. It's nice.
I try to remember stuff like this. That's that last thing that I was saying about being curious and so excited and yet action, like you take action. Like I'm just always, I want to remember. Look, this is what I'm going to say. I want to remember my story. Because when you quit telling your story, you lose your strength. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. Is you got to tell that story. Because
Right.
people forget. They don't know that your air conditioning heat goes out and you just fixed it. They don't know how you used to call mommy.
Right.
Is that what you called her, mommy? Say mommy?
I actually call my grandma because they have more money.
So tell your story. So you call grandma. How would you like it
anymore.
if your kids skip you and call grandma? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right. The cars, how many cars do y'all have? Y'all
2.
have 2 cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
2
Both of
cars.
them working?
They're working, yep. We drove one down today.
I was thinking about, there's just so much going on. My life's going on. It's just crazy. It's absolutely like I dreamed it would be. A little bit better than I ever dreamed. But now I'm thinking, what's next? One more. What could we have? Okay? Last thing I want to tell you this is honoring commitment. So, I have a friend named Cleve McClary. He's a war hero, fought in Vietnam, served as a Marine. He says, say what you mean and mean what you say. He's a South Carolina boy. He says, say what you mean. So many people just, like, I mean how many dollars you make, and they say how many leads they have. I'm like, say what you think about what you're saying. It's like I always ask a person, I say, what's your favorite food that it's like, tell me your favorite thing that you do that you can say out loud. Because, like, I don't want to put pressure on somebody, say, like, I want to give them the opportunity to tell the truth. Does that make sense? I don't want to put pressure on them to have to lie. Because I don't want to lie to you. So rather than lie, I'll move over to something else. Does that kind of so the same thing is true of myself. If I say I'm going to be there, then I'm going to be there. If I know there's going to be traffic and I can't leave until 4, I might say I will be there as soon as I can, allowing for traffic. I know that it's going to be nuts. I can't avoid that. But if I know that I can leave 3 hours early, I just say I'll be there at 4. I will be there because then I know I'm going to leave. Does that make sense? In other words, I don't set myself up to feel like a liar. I'm also not that guy that tells you this goal that he can easily hit. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to do all I can do. He'll say, like, what would you like to do? So I'd really like to get up to $5 million a month income. When? As soon as I can. I would like for you to get up to $1 million in income in less than 24 months. So I'd like to get you to 80 grand a month in less than 24 months. I would consider myself a great success if I could get you to do that. And in 5 years, I'd like you to be making 10 million or a little close to $1 million a month. Does that make sense? And people say, that's unrealistic. I go, yeah, you're probably not going to be a good candidate for me to work with. I need a person who thinks it's possible and then will do the things that makes it likely or the things that makes it unfair that they're the one that makes that kind of money. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because all I got to do is tell you what to do, and that gives you an unfair advantage, and then you're more likely to win, and when then you win, I win, because you understand this is kind of a pyramid thing. You know, like legally it's not, but the way I see it is I get a percentage. If I help you do really, really good, then I do really, really better. Does that make sense? That's why people are always like, he's trying to get you. I'm like, bro, if I get you and you lose, I lose. This is not a program where if you lose, I laugh. That's not the program. And that's why if you lose in this, your friends laugh. If you lose in this, I cry. If you understand that I benefit as you benefit. That part, like with insurance carriers, I'm on their same side. I know that when we sell more, those guys are going to get rich. Me too. And if I can't sell the dadgum product, I'll go to the president and I say, bro, look here. We can't sell it, which means we're going to lose, which means you're going to lose. We're going to have to do this. And they'd go like, oh, yeah, what if we did that? I go, that's what I'm talking about right there, because then we're going to kill it and then y'all going to kill it. So we're in a dance here together. Does that make sense? All right. So the last thing on the words is communication. I have said this, and more and more I see it in life. The ability to communicate is the ability to lubricate financial affairs. And if you don't have lubrication, you have friction. And friction is not what you want when it comes to money. You want that money going off like Marcus Richardson's little boy when he's throwing them $100 bills. Boom, 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 boom. Looked like he had a little grease between every Benjamin. Shoot, 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 shoot. You with me? Communication is the lubrication for financial affairs. For you to make money, you got to learn how to communicate. And one guy, he says, my upline won't text me back, won't call me back. So, well, first of all, find an upline that will. And I always like to hit them with 3 question marks. If they don't respond to me, if I'm ever talking to somebody and I send them a couple texts, I'll hit them with 3 question marks. And then I'll wait 8 hours and I hit them with 3 question marks again. That's my text for, hello, are you dead? You know, because you're not communicating. And some people don't need the phone. They don't feel the need to return phone calls. They don't feel the need to return text. And let me tell you something. Email, there's a lot of us that don't feel the need to return email. Matter of fact, apparently there's a lot of us that don't even open all our emails. But I don't know how you don't open your text. I don't know how you do that. Right? Now, I've got so many channels for communication coming in. I explain to people I'm best reached by text. You might be best reached by Twitter direct or Facebook direct or Instagram direct or Snapchat, but you need to pick a mode and let your downline or your cross line or your upline know so that we can have quick communication. Does that make sense? How does this tie into excellence? If I don't know what's going on and you don't know what's going on and you don't get back to me, I can't react to you and we can't work in unison. This is not rocket science, thank God. It's not that complicated of stuff that we've put together here. Communication is huge. So excellence is part of it is communication and part of it is doing what you say you're going to do. Does that make sense? In other words, don't be a freaking liar. I don't know. I can't think of a nice way to say it. Like guys, if we're going to rob a bank together and you're supposed to clip the wires, you got to clip the wires. I can't be up in here on video. Does that make sense? Like we're on a team. And I'm trying to get an IUL written, and you're the one that said, I'll help you with the quote, and then I can't find you. I'm over here with a piece of toilet paper trying to figure out how to fight my way out of a gunfight. You see what I'm saying? If we're going to be on the same team, let's be on the same team. If we're going to put together a show, let's all put on an act. Does that make sure? Let's dress up, show up, let's kick some arse, and let's win this thing. Got what I'm telling you? Let's show up. That's why Jeff Bright worked so hard on this chapter on excellence in this book. This is the actual chapter. This is a whole formula right here, and it's Dude, y'all, we're going to preach, we're going to teach. Last thing I want to teach you on communication. This is a big one on communication. Okay? I call it the TLC method for learning them. Okay? What you do is, and we don't have time to do it today, but this is what at 2 o'clock, I promise you that we'll do the TLC. Here's the way it works. I teach it. I throw it out there hard. I tell you, I teach you. Then what I do is I ask you to tell me back. I call that listen. The TLC, tender love and care, this TLC form of teaching is also known as teach it, listen back, and then correct. So what you do is you say, tell me what I just said. It'll shock you what they say back. You've talked for 5 minutes, you let them talk, and it's contradictory, opposite of what you just got through saying, and you want to get mad. The problem is you failed to communicate. You were talking, and you was complicating it, and people didn't understand it. So when they answer back, don't get mad, just say, oops, I must not have explained it correct. So what you do is you correct, or another way to put it is you do it again. So let me do it in a different way. Now you tell me what I said. Now when I can tell you and you can repeat it and I go, that's perfect, that sounds just right. The shocking thing is I go over here to you or you and say, you tell me back. You've heard both of us, and then you think he's going to be, this is just dumb because them two already got it. We know he got it, and then he tells it and he changes it. And you're like, how did that happen? I go, I don't know, ask him. So I go, let's do it one more time. I said, maybe we should let you. And then you tell him, and then me and you go, that ain't what we said. And we said, then we get you right, and then you get him right. Then there's 4 of us on the same page of music. Does that make sense? This is the TLC method. So whoever was teaching that girl to write down her phone calls, she didn't hear what she said because she wasn't writing down the number of phone calls. Or maybe she forgot. Which then we got to go back and teach it again. TLC is huge. Please adopt this method when you're talking to people. So everything we're rolling out this year, we got to get everybody on the same page. Communication is lubrication of financial affairs. We got to get everybody going. You see what I'm saying? Everybody includes you, which means you're going to make money. Hey, I'm going to have Chris put this up on band. But, I want to tell you, the Phoenix contest, the only people in the contest so far that have sold Phoenix is Michael Owens, Michael and Angie, Mike and Michelle Alleman, and Paul and Tamara Roberts. You can't be in the contest until you've had 3 people hired and selling. In other words, you got to put in 3 new legs, and you have to have a policy issued with Phoenix Life. So James Hill has had 5 people. He should be in the contest. James Hill is in the contest, but he's number 4. There's only 3 people winning. Bell Krause is number 5, Robert Wilson. I'm going to put the top 10 in the Phoenix contest. Put top 10 in the Phoenix contest up, Chris, on band. Is everybody on band? Raise your hand if you're on band. Raise your hand if you're on band. If you're not on band, that means somebody's not invited you. Somebody would invite those people on band. Y'all going to be surprised. When I work with a brand new person, like I'm working with a guy named Sam Salem right now, I promise you he's on band. How long has he been working with you? The first day. Does he know about the convention? Yeah. He knows more about the basics than most people's new people. You with me? We got to get on the basics. Band is one of the basics. On this. We have a contest that is running through the end of the year. So it started October 1. We're going to give away $100,000. Let's see if I can pull those up. I think I can pull those up. Help me pull up the contest. There we go. Let's do, here we go. So this is for the veterans. Can you do me the brand new people? Okay, yeah, that was it. Christian Cameron has now taken over first place in the contest for this is only people that was hired in 2018. The number 1 person in sales gets $5,000. Now look, Dia, you only get credit. See, he's actually had more, but he's only got 19 deals. So Dia and Christian are a real tight contest right here for $5,000. Number 2 is going to get $3,500. And this is extra on top of all your commissions. Jara Gonzalez is coming on strong. I would not bet against her. She may win the whole thing. Gary Bell, there's Mia right there. Now, if you look, Christian is number 1 in sales and 32 in recruiting. Dia is number 2 in recruiting and number 2 in sales. In other words, it looks like a winner is a winner is a winner. And Jara's 3 in 29. Gary's not hitting anything on recruiting. Mia is number 5 in sales and 12 in recruiting. Let's go to the recruiting for the new people, Billy. I think Richard and Melissa Smith are winning that. Yeah, here we go. So Richard Smith is number 1 right here with 3. What's happened is he's got a person in class, passed the test, and made money. 3 different people. And Dia has had 2 different people that he's got to make money. Now, if you hire somebody like right here and they get a paycheck and then they get a person, that only counts as 1 because that's your person. And then this counts as 1. So Dia has got 2 people to actually get a paycheck. He might have hired 5 others, right? But these 2 got paychecks. Kurt Richardson is number 3. Lemuel is number 4. Tim Long is number 5. All right. A lot of people say this to us, like, how could anybody fail that's off to a fast start? If they get weary in well-doing, if they can't master the mundane, if they can't keep doing the boring. Most people start doing good and then they quit. So, you know, I've been around a long time. That's what people do. You're going to have hiccups and you're going to have problems. This guy has said he's struggling with recruiting. I go like, what? So? That's the way life works. You just keep hiring. And once he's struggling with selling, he wants to just recruit. Oh, God. We sell, recruit, we build. This is the 3 things we do. Does that make sense? Like, you can't give up. You got to just keep going and barreling through and fighting through with excellence and getting back on the horse. You with me? Let's go to 2017 real quick. I know we're out of time. So Christian is beating all the people that were hired in 2017 and 18. So she's going to win another $5,000. 10 grand on top of. Dia is right there at number 2. So what the yellow means, they're competing from last year against the people. So in 2017, Ann, you and your husband are number 1 with the people, but 2018 people came along and pushed you down. Does that make sense? In other words, it's kind of like the JV moves up to the varsity, but the varsity can't move down to the JV and get playing time. It's the best way I can tell it. Let's go to the recruiting on this. Okay, Richard Smith is winning. Richard has a good shot at winning $10,000. Anthony Evans, although these are tied. When you get tied, we go to this column over here and look at direct issue paid. What I would do, we're going to post the top 10 on band. Get your downline and explain this contest to them. I know it seems like it don't matter. It matters that they understand it. Well, they can't win this contest. They need to understand it. There's a lot of principles and a lot of teaching involved. And then we have a contest for veterans. Let's real quick take a look at the veterans. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So Sarge is kicking everybody's hiney with 50 sales and 65,000. Junior Korea has been on a sales rip at 57, and Bill Cook. Swindell is right up in here, and James Coleman kicking butt. Janina Wilson, Joe Dukes, Adam Johnson, James Hill, and Eric Belair rounds out the top 10 as far as sales. This is veterans, people who've been here forever. Notice that there's no 2018 people. Scroll down a little bit. I think I can. There's first. So Cameron is number 15 in the country. So she's going to get another check right there. Let's do recruiting for veterans. Boom, yow. Kyle Cater. Kyle has quit putting in way to go, Cater Group. They're going to quit hiring, and they're going to start working down under these people. And so you won't see their number grow as much because they're starting to create volume by driving depth. And then they'll start putting in width again because they're still going. They get out there and they're going to win the money, and they're going to split that up. Now they're going to split another kind of money up. Leventovich's Mike Paleo is coming on strong. Look at all these 5s. Okay, so we got a lot of good stuff going on. Guys, we are fired up about what's going on in the Alliance. Sam Menachino, So fired up about you and Paul and Terry and Tia. Glad y'all are here. Hope this helps, guys. We ain't perfect, but we're striving for excellence. Fort Lauderdale, come and see you tomorrow. Come and see you across the country. Love y'all. See you 11th. Bye.